My biggest insecurity is being the reason that the band can't do something. Like, I never want to be that guy. I never want to be the weakest link in the chain. So I do everything I can in order to prepare for a gig.
I love my mama.
Welcome, everybody, to Nashville Drummers Podcast, episode 60.
We want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and happy holiday season. Today's guest is Joel Mevis, a Nashville native who grew up in Nashville, moved away, and eventually came back. Joel was, in Nate's words, one of the most interesting people we've had on the show, for sure.
Unquestionably.
Has a lot of very cool experiences outside of drumming in the music industry itself that has, in fact, lent itself to his success. We spent a good amount of time talking about Ableton and just being the most hireable asset that you can be for an artist, for a band. Joel sort of epitomizes the true working drummer and problem solver, as often comes up on many of the guests that we've had on the show, in terms of seeing a need and then ultimately providing solutions and just figuring things out.
He mentioned that his biggest fear is being the weakest link in the chain or being the reason the band can't do something. And like Dan said, he's figured out how not to be that guy. Also, I can't wait for you guys to find out what he puts on eggs. We hope you enjoy episode 60. Enjoy stuffing your face with turkey and being around your family. Give them lots of hugs and kisses.
You can bet your ass straight change. You wish you wouldn't know. I grew up with Miller Lite and dairy in the freezer, Walker T on the TV, AJ and church on the speakers. Picture Grizzly in my lap, real tree on the crib. If that ain't country, I don't know what is. I go to shop on my coffee.
Yeah, so the new winter edition Red Bull is like a vanilla berry or something like that. I tried it for the first time an hour ago.
Where would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, dude, it's like a 9 or a 10.
Whoa.
It's really good.
Okay.
It's really good.
I'm willing to take a shot at that.
Yeah.
I'm usually, it's like, if I need energy, it's black coffee.
Okay, fair enough.
But that's because usually energy drinks, well, it's multiple reasons. I like the flavor. And usually energy drinks just don't really
They don't do it for you?
They just don't give me that.
Yeah,
that pep.
I mean, I'm very-
They don't make me need to poop, you know?
That's true. I'm very much a coffee in the morning person.
Yeah,
like, absolutely. I can't do like a Monster or Red Bull or anything in the morning because, yeah, you got to poop.
Is there anyone out there that does like a Monster energy drink in the morning? If so,
Probably.
seek help.
100% there are.
Yeah.
You ever been to a Shell gas station at 5 a.m.?
Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
I've been on tour, so
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, fair enough.
So it's you. You just answered your own question. That's all of us.
Wait, Shell gas station at 5 in the morning. If I'm driving, I'm drinking a giant coffee
Absolutely.
of horribly brewed, disgusting gas station coffee.
Yeah. It's never good.
No, but sometimes you just want that bitter nastiness to
Yeah.
remind you that life is hard.
I get that 100%. I one time drove from New England back to Nashville, 17 hours. I drove the van the whole way, overnight. We left at like 5 p.m. and got back at like 10 a.m. And
God dang, dude.
Yeah.
Champion stuff.
it was like, we were all just like, we just want to be home. Like we
Yeah.
wrapped up a festival and it was like, let's just go. And every gas station I got another horrible coffee, drank it until we needed gas again, did the exact same thing.
Dude, muscling through.
Dude. And at the end, like everyone started to wake up about 6 or 7 a.m. and they're like, do you want us to take over? I'm like, no, I'm doing this. Like I'm going to accomplish this.
You invested enough.
Yeah. I'm not going to let you take us across the finish line.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I was
I respect that.
recently on a run and we got into a situation where I was like, I'm getting pretty tired and we're close enough to home, like 2.5 hours away. Everyone wants to sleep. Like, well, now we can't we can't do that. Somebody's got to do this thing. And
Right.
2.5 is still, that's a chunk.
It is.
Like
It's for me, the last hour is nothing.
Totally.
If you can get an hour out, there's no thinking at that point. You're just, your way.
Truly.
But yeah, I understand that.
Well, first of all, why don't we start?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What
What a way to start. This is great.
what festival?
Oh,
were
man.
you playing?
This was
And who were you playing with?
Okay, this was 20.
Well, who are you first?
Oh,
let's go back.
that's a great question.
Yeah, we're here with Joel. How do you say your last name?
Mevis.
Mevis. Okay,
Yep.
I was between that and Mevis, but I went with Mevis.
Yep.
Sounded right.
Most people say Mavis or Melvis,
Okay, they're adding an L.
but there's no A, but they do add an L. But it's like Mavis Beacon teaches typing. Do you guys ever do that when you were in school, like the typing program?
Mavis
so.
Beacon.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. So that's
my
where that comes
childhood,
from.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 30 years ago.
That's right.
Well, maybe we weren't learning typing at 6, but
Yeah, probably not.
yeah, 25 years ago. Anyways, yeah. Joel Mevis, Nashville native. I was born at what used to be called Baptist Hospitals, now St. Thomas Midtown. And I currently live 2 miles from there.
Wow.
Yeah, in Midtown.
So you were literally going to Whiskey Jam before it was cool.
Actually, I wasn't.
Actually, that place sucks.
Yeah. I do miss Whiskey Jam at Midtown.
That's
though.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
That similar sentiment from people,
Yeah.
not even people that are from here, but especially people that live here. You know,
It's just like
quite the same.
I'm sure. I mean, you play downtown all the time, but you know, like getting in and out of downtown is just a mess. Like,
Yeah.
and not that being in Midtown was that much better, but bringing your gear around and stuff like that to play 4 songs is really a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
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 But I did play the very first one at Whiskey Row with Will Cullen was his name. He's a TikTok kid. He's actually hilarious. He's a super great guy. But we kicked off Whiskey Jam at Whiskey Row.
Dude,
Yeah.
how did that feel? First one.
It was cool. It was actually a lot busier than I thought it would be because I was like, no one's going to come to this. It's downtown. Locals don't go downtown.
Right.
And it was packed. It was great.
You know, I actually really enjoy it down there. I mean,
Do you?
For a lot of the reasons that I understand the negatives, I can relate to. But like the parking's changed because you don't have to park in the garage. So it's actually
Oh, you don't?
It can be pretty economical. You can just, especially on a Monday. Thursday's a little different story because it's like the weekend. But
Yeah.
go down on a Monday, you can just park on the street, find a spot, and then you just pay by the hour. So you can just be like, hey, I'm gonna catch 3-4 artists, and then you're only paying for it's like $5-10.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Because
But,
even if you
you know-
validate, it's still $10.
Right.
But
From my experience, like the production at Whiskey Row is just
I will say yes, the sound
It's
and
not even
production
comparable.
is way better. They have in-ears now. You can run tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
So that is
and it made sense like as
Yeah.
a brand to grow
right.
and
Right.
I get all that, but
Yeah. Ward did a good thing.
no one's
moving
ever
it.
going to be truly happy.
However, I do feel like Midtown's kind of dying since it's left. Because like Red Door and all of that used to be packed after those shows.
Yeah, true.
And now it's
Have you been to the new
Interesting.
Losers? What's it called?
I have, yeah. It's Duck Blind.
Yeah, what's
Riley
it?
Green. Riley Green's
bar.
Duck Blind, yeah.
Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
It still crosses over, like you can go from bar to bar inside. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Did they really change much?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
it's-
whole new building.
Yeah.
It's a whole new building. It's a whole new, like, inside's redone, everything like that. I've been twice now, I think, and it was just, It was fine.
So I said Losers. That used to be Winners.
I get 'em mixed
right?
up,
Yeah.
man.
'Cause
I don't
Losers
know.
still, they're doing the whiskey. Oh, I guess
Whiskey Fest,
Is it-
yeah,
well, they're
yeah.
not calling it that anymore. I don't know
Are
if
they
that's an
not?
issue.
Oh,
It's just
man.
Losers Live. I think like their Instagram is not even, it doesn't exist anymore.
That's the
wild.
trouble with branding, man. Someone's
Yeah, it's
always got a problem with you having some title. Well, we had that first. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
That's why we took the National Drummer podcast name
Right.
pretty quick. And copyright.
Be like,
yeah.
see if it's available, and yes, that's us.
No one's
the most
dumb enough to have thought
straightforward
about
title
that.
for the
Sure,
thing that
yeah.
this is. Go.
I mean, honestly, that's the best way to do a brand. Yeah, absolutely. But so back to that story. I was playing with this guy, Ben Fuller, who has since sailed. He's a CCM guy. And this was like one of his very first live shows. I played drums with him for, I don't know, about 1.5 years, 2 years. Did music videos and things like that. But yeah, so this was one of his very first festivals that he ever did. And we were all new. Well, his whole team was new. And it was like, all right, well, I guess we're driving 17 hours home today.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an accomplishment though. 17-hour drive.
That is
Yeah.
an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Well, the festival is too, and playing.
I mean, it was cool. Yeah, we did the main stage. I think we were probably second or third on the main stage there. But it was cool. It was good. It was good for him, man. He's since soared off. He's on a headlining tour now.
you looked like you were going to say
Oh
something.
no, it looked like you were. So I was listening.
It was the big.
Every time we do this little thing where I'm like, all right, there's I'm like, all right, is he about to ask a question? Because he's usually very organized. I'm like, oh, I know.
It's like good
I know.
cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Either way, you're
Organized,
getting arrested. So.
organized cop, dangerous idiot cop.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a movie
Should
about
be
that.
in jail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should criminal. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so you've lived here your whole life.
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
So I was born here. I was here until I was like middle school, basically.
Okay.
Moved away. We moved to Thief River Falls, Minnesota, which was a town of 2,000 people. Moved there, moved back, moved there again. We lived in Oklahoma for a little bit as well, and then out in California. My family. I was a child.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a kid. And then
But
moved out.
I'm not sure when in the timeline this was.
Yeah. So like middle school here, Minnesota, back here, Minnesota again. I think we lived in Tulsa when I was like 4 for like 6 months, and then back.
Interesting.
And then from Minnesota, we went to California. And I lived in California from middle school through high school. And then I moved back to Nashville 2013.
Where in California, by the way?
Fresno.
Oh, that's where my wife is from.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'm sorry to say that with such a...
No, hey, man, there's a reason she doesn't live there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I got out as soon as I could. I moved back to Nashville by myself. I told my parents, I was like, I want to do my own thing. I want to go back home. I love Nashville. And then 6 months later, they all moved and followed me. I was like trying to forge my own path. And they're like, we're coming.
Hey, but that's great because you took the first step.
I did. And now they all live 30 minutes from me. So
That's
great.
That's honestly, are you close with your family?
decently. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love my family. We get along super well. I'm trying desperately to get them out here. We're just, maybe once we start popping out some children,
Ooh, yeah.
we can get them here. But
That's the big thing. So my sister moved immediately after me. She had 3 kids at the time. And my parents were like, well, there's nothing, like, why are we still in California?
right.
So, yeah. Kids are the anchor for grandparents.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, so you've kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, man, I have. It's been cool. It's been easy to make friends throughout my life because of that. Like, I've always had to start new conversations. I've always had to, weasel my way into groups and stuff like that. It's also made me not very attached to things. Like, throwing stuff away is literally my favorite thing in the entire world. I love purging my apartment and being like, I haven't worn this in a year.
Does that hold true for drums?
Cables
and mics and stuff,
cables and stuff like that. Yeah, but like cymbals or snare drums or things like that. I'm not very sentimental, but I do have an 8x14 pearl brass free floating snare drum
No way.
that my dad gave me when I graduated high school. He's a bass player.
Okay.
And I've never played it.
Oh my gosh.
I've never played it in a live show. It's got die-cast hoops. That thing is so loud.
Yeah.
It's
You
screaming
gotta check
loud.
that out. I've never played on a 14x8, I don't think.
Yeah, dude.
I want to hear that.
It'll destroy drumsticks. Yeah. It's impressive, but I just have no use for it.
Yeah. Any interest in selling it?
No, my dad gave it to me when I graduated high school.
Well, that's good.
But I thought you weren't sentimental.
Musical gifts. He did.
I don't like your dad.
Yeah. You said it doesn't necessarily hold true for drums. I was just hoping.
I will say, so my dad's a bass player, and for my 30th birthday, he gave me his 1964 P, Fender P bass.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. The thing was actually stolen 3 times from him, and he got him back.
Wow.
One time he was walking past a pawn shop and saw it in the window. And he had filed a police report with serial numbers and everything like that. And he went in and was like, the guy was like, oh, you like this bass? You're going to take it? He goes, yeah, I'm going to take it home. And then the guy was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he had to pull out the police report, and the cops came and they were like, yeah, that's his.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's-
but stolen 3 times.
Yeah. Another time a guy tried to walk off with it from like backstage, and a bouncer caught somebody trying to steal it. And then I don't remember what the 3rd time was, but I know it was 3.
Yeah.
It's impressive enough to get it back once.
Yes.
I had a friend actually at a show I played with him get his Telecaster stolen by a guy who apparently really liked stealing specifically Telecasters. He was a very discerning thief. But then he
was like, that one, I want that one.
He overdosed on heroin, and my friend got his Telecaster back.
All right.
That's how that works.
Yeah, so that's that story.
Dude, I just had a buddy of mine this month. His name's Jeremiah. He had his, I think it was a Martin or Taylor acoustic guitar stolen off the jet bridge. They were connecting through Charlotte. They have it on video. The guy got off before, they were in the back of the plane. Guy got off before them,
and it was just
picked up the
waiting.
guitar and just took off. They were on a connecting flight coming back to Nashville from like New York or something like that. So they went New York, Charlotte, Nashville, and the guy stole it. They started a whole claim situation. American Airlines was like, there's nothing we can do. They got the cops involved. The cops were like, there's nothing we can do, even though they literally had the guy on video grabbing the guitar and taking off with it. A week later, American calls him and says, we found your guitar in St. Louis.
Yeah, so you got to have those air tags, man.
Yeah, I know. So that night at the show, they were like, oh, we had a guitar. And some girl like gave him an air tag. She's like, here, take this, please. And so now he has an air tag. But, yeah.
That's an insane
I don't know how it ended up in St. Louis.
Let me just say, on top of the craziness of that story in general, the crown jewel of the craziness of that is how good the service is in this story by American, which I have never had a good experience with.
Oh, no, American didn't do anything. It just randomly showed up. Like, they were like, oh, it's not our problem. Sorry. Huh. They didn't want to do anything, and then it just showed up in St. Louis.
See, that makes more sense.
Yeah. If you are a professional musician and you don't have your stuff insured,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? This is your livelihood.
Yeah, seriously.
You've got a $5,000 guitar and you don't have Music Pro insurance on it, which is probably $20 a year. Like, come on.
Yeah, I recently bought AirTags for snare, cymbals. I have one in my wallet at all times.
Do you? I don't put AirTags in drums.
I mean, it's not in the drum. It's in the case. It's in the case.
Yeah, I just feel like that's not going to get really jacked. It probably would be, but.
It's a good idea. Put it in the shell. What's that rattling? At least I know where it is. It's right here.
Just falling apart inside the drum. You know that old, I played drums at a church where somebody rolled up napkins and shoved it in through the vent hole.
Yeah.
To deaden it. Yeah, the AirTag can do that, man.
There you go.
It would sound like shit, but yeah.
It's modern.
It might be, I mean, if you got enough of them in there, might have an interesting kind of
snare
slosh to it or something,
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? I played a floor tom that was full of like junk one time.
Was it just all of the hardware that had come unscrewed and was rattling around in the bottom?
It was like, I don't know. It was like they stuck a bunch of old toys and stuff in there. It was bizarre, but I loved it at the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. The things we liked when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else have you filled a drum with?
Oh my gosh. No, I've never done. I don't do anything like that. I'm very.
That's good. We got to start asking that. Yeah.
That would be a great question to ask everybody. What have you put inside of a drum?
What is the weirdest thing you've ever used to mute a drum?
Yeah.
Oh, weirdest? Nah, nothing that weird. Probably like a bandana or something like that, or like like an old leather wallet on a snare drum, that type of thing.
The oddness that I just experienced was like, say banana, and you said bandana.
Oh. What if I had mashed up a banana?
If you said banana bandana, I would have cried.
Or if I ate the banana, opened up the peel and set that down.
That would have been
that actually would
like
work.
Mario Kart style.
Yeah,
and you could tape it down, and I bet it would give a real nice, like a very soft muting. Yeah, that's going to be my new technique.
Did we just come up with a new product?
Bananas.
What's it called?
That shit's bananas.
Yeah. It's going to be yellow. It's going to be sold at Drum Supply. It's going to be great.
The drum banana. Why not?
That's where all these companies are going now. All these
patent pending.
Weird accessories. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I won 5%.
Hey,
hey, what about me?
I'll get.
I
33% each.
Yeah.
Okay. 33.
No, I'm not going to do any work.
Okay.
I just want 5% for being in the room.
Yeah,
fair.
That's fair. Word for a third, baby.
Yeah.
How do you get the perfect Nashville kick drum tone? It starts with a Lowboy Leather Daddy bass drum beater. This leather-faced beater occupies the sonic space between felt and wood beaters. It's punchy enough to cut through the mix on those 4-on-the-floor barn burners with the warmth you need for slow ballads. Okay, but who plays a Leather Daddy? Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood's band uses one. Lee Bryce drummer Donnie Marple plays a pair. Walk down Broadway any night of the week and you're going to hear one. In Nashville, you can test drive a lowboy beater at Drumbox and grab one at Forks, Drum Supply, or Nelson's. Check out lowboybeaters.com to learn more.
So I grew up playing drums. I started in 5th grade playing in church. We were very early adopters of tracks and syncing things to videos.
Okay,
Like
we're gonna get
like
there.
yeah,
that makes sense hearing that.
yeah, very early adopters of that. Like
And church in Nashville.
no, this was the church. Well, I said 5th grade. This was a church in California.
Okay.
So 7th grade was probably when we started doing tracks and stuff like
Yep.
that. Like we used to do huge Easter and Christmas performances with like 13, 15 songs and syncing things to video and like just the drums on click track and stuff like that. And that's what's made me really good at playing a click these days.
Yeah.
Because when you do that in your like formative years, that just sticks with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Do you have some pretty cool memories of those?
Oh,
in
absolutely.
particular?
I also have memories of just bombing so bad.
Tell the story.
Oh my gosh. Like,
Set the scene.
all right, you're in 8th grade. What are you, 15 maybe?
Yes, let's see, 8th grade. 13, 14.
Okay, 13,
Yeah,
14.
yeah.
You've been playing drums for 2 years. You think you're killing it because you're in
Totally.
you're in big church, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And for the and there's like a half bar, you know, somewhere.
Oh.
And you just don't recognize that, and then all of a sudden you're off for the rest of the song.
Oh, boy.
And the music director shuts the whole thing down. It's like, let's take it again.
That's like the worst possible.
And you're like terrified, right? Because you're playing with all of these 25 and 30-year-olds, and you're this kid, and everyone's like, can't Larry play the drums? Like, why is he got it? And so let's run it again. And you do it again, and you bomb it again. You're just like missing it time after time after time until he comes and pulls me aside. He goes, hey man, like the one resets on the, like he has to like actually tell me what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay. And then thankfully he was so kind and gracious. He turns around to everybody, goes, hey everyone, that was my fault. That was, he had it right. It was me. And then we did it and it went off great. But it was hard when you were a kid and just getting into that.
Yeah.
But then I got,
imagine, yeah.
and then I bought my own in-ear, like I bought my own Sennheiser G3, my own pack, and I would take that to church with me, like wherever I was playing, and I would set it up. I would just disconnect the monitor and plug it in so that I could do it myself. And very was trying to stay on the cutting edge of like technology at the time, and like trying to be like, I think this is where things are going, and this is what I want to do. So I was trying really hard.
So like it seems like that's really stemmed from that, right?
Yeah.
That fail.
That experience, yeah, was
which
like,
often like you need to have some kind of, you know,
you have to have like somebody shake you and be like,
what-
get it
what- yeah,
together.
what's going to push you? And then like
Yeah.
it's cool to hear that right after you got
Yeah.
your own. You
Yep.
know, I'm going to learn this stuff inside and out, so that
Yep.
never happens and
Yep.
grow from it. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
it's, yeah, so I mean, it's no surprise because I mean, I'm reading here that I want to get into, of course, what you're up to currently, and because I know you build rigs and rent
I do.
rigs out.
Yeah.
So to kind of take us through that whole
So
process.
where that came from was I did a 10 roof tour with a band that is no longer a band. But we were actually out with Lakeview Country, which they're doing great
cool.
now.
Yep.
It was like a co-headlining thing at the time. This was, I don't know, 5 years ago. And I don't know if either of you have done a 10 roof tour across the States.
I've played a few, not as like a tour, but
Yeah.
just like a one-off weekend.
They're
in
horrible.
Indianapolis or Chicago.
They're horrible. It's a sound guy who is grumpy, showed up 5 minutes before he was supposed to be there, doesn't know where any cables are, is mad that there's drums on stage and is having to compete with that. And monitors were horrible every night. Every night they were horrible. And so I saw a need and I was like, you know what, man, there's a way to do this. Like, I know that we can do this. And so from that, it took me about 2 years, but I built my first in-ear rig to use for myself and bands that I was playing with. So it's, like a Midas M32 and a DL32 stage box and 4 channels of wireless in-ears and 1 channel of stereo wired in-ears. A playback rig is built into it. And remote antennas and all that
everything
stuff.
in the box you would
Yeah.
need, right?
Yeah. Multi-pin split too. I use it for rehearsals now, which is great. My building has a rehearsal space.
Cool.
It's like a soundproof room. And being the drummer, you know that you have to carry everything everywhere. So it's really great to have rehearsals at my building because I can just roll my drums on a cart into the room. I don't have to throw them in my truck.
Yeah.
Your hardware case weighs 200 pounds. You don't got to pick that up and put it in the thing. And
seriously. My gosh.
Yeah. So that rig has actually done really well. It's out on the road right now with the kid G, who's an artist who started in TikTok. And then from that, it grew. I added a front of house console, so like a full size M32 and a road case that flips up, and you can connect right into it through a single AES-50 cable or an Ethercon cable. And then just 2 weeks ago, I finished a flyable rig because I had a band.
I saw that.
Yeah,
it
I had
so
a band
cool.
try to fly with the first one, and I was like, "It's pretty heavy, guys." Like, they're like, "It's fine, we'll pay for it."
Yeah.
And then they show up to the airport, and the airport's like, "No."
Like, what do you do?
Just no.
Yeah.
It's 163 pounds. You can't fly with this.
Yeah.
And so so then I built a flyable one that breaks into 2 different Pelican cases, and you stack them and you link them together through a multi-pin cable. It's super clean. It's really fast.
Yeah.
And that one's out with Tori Martin, I think is her name.
Okay.
But yeah, so all my stuff's out this month, which is great. It's
what you want, yeah.
It's kind of a big deal for me. Like, yeah.
Congrats. That's incredible. I mean, so for the listener that's listening to this and maybe has no idea about any of those specs that you just listed off, but also maybe hearing like, okay, damn, this sounds, 1, expensive.
It
and
is.
2, like how did you even kind of figure out like all the pieces that you needed?
I grew up, bought a in-ear rig or an in-ear monitor when I was 15 years old. So I just sort of grew up learning about that. I always still do. I always make best friends with the sound guy. Mm-hmm. I go to talk to them after every sound check, after every rehearsal, after everything, and get their opinion on things like, am I playing too loud? How are tones? Like, are you happy with it? Because I hate more than anything else, at the end of the night, I hear from somebody else that the sound guy was like, that guy's snare drum sucks, which has happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I was on tour with another band and we never got to talk to them. And I just heard that the sound engineer was complaining to the headliner sound engineer that they didn't like the tones and stuff like that. And I was like, well, why didn't you?
Yeah, why didn't you
This
say
is
something?
fixable.
Yeah.
Such a great and underrated move. I could not
Dude.
agree. Always talk to the
Absolutely.
freaking audio engineer because they can tell you if you sounded good in the
literally
room
their
or
job.
not.
Yeah.
It's their job.
And if it's a good, maybe not the tin roof
Maybe
ones,
not the
but
tin roof guys, but
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're on a
If
professional
they're
environment.
halfway decent at their job, they can tell you if you're getting washed out or if you're overwhelming the room
Yeah.
or whatever.
I was playing with this band, Levon, who actually got referred to it from Ethan Harb, our mutual friend.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Ethan's a good friend of mine. Actually fixed his computer recently for Ableton. But
Let's go.
we were playing an amphitheater, and I was like, this is a big show. Like, why are we not putting more time into making sure it sounds good? It was very disappointing.
Yeah.
And then the guy at the next venue, we played Kalamazoo, Michigan, a hockey arena, and that guy was phenomenal. He was great.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Because he was like, do you care if I move things? I was like, no, please.
Please do whatever it takes to make this as awesome as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you for caring.
Just thank you for caring. And I think, and I hate to say this, but in today's world of like tracks and backing tracks and things like that, I would almost argue that a front of house engineer is more important than, say, a keys player, maybe a bass player.
Dang.
Which I hate to say that because my best friends are bass players.
That's a hot take, my friend.
I know.
Hot take on the mic. That's why we have a podcast.
Yep.
I know.
It's a classic. I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, guys.
I am. But as an artist, you're leaving it all up to some dude who doesn't know you, who doesn't give a crap about your music. He's there to make his $200 to make sure the sound works. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
That's true.
Yeah, especially as you say with tracks are everywhere.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of a good segue to go into Ableton
Yeah, man.
and that whole world. And
Yeah. So,
you said you fixed Ethan. So what was wrong with Ethan? Why is he a dumb?
Why
drummer?
is Ethan such a dumb idiot?
No, we love Ethan. He's literally the world's like most viral drummer. Also.
Oh, dude,
It's
yes,
so- yeah.
his
bonk.
Yeah, yeah.
dang bonk, dude.
We love it.
Dude, I've had family
I watched
members
that today. Yeah,
I've had family members send me that and be like, "Have you seen this?" I'm like,
was like,
yeah, no, that's my friend Ethan.
my coworker
like
sent
it.
me that from another account that just posted. I don't know if they had his permission. I'm like, yeah, I know that's Ethan.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's my homie. I play that stage multiple times a week. That the guy singing is literally my bass player, Will Beam. And
yeah,
oh
Will.
no shit.
I know Will. Yeah,
He is incredible.
Will's awesome.
yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah,
we
anyway.
love you, Ethan.
Ethan, you're not an idiot. I love you.
No, he's not. He's a great guy. He's phenomenal.
He really
And
is.
one of the best drummers.
Oh, dude,
Oh, yeah.
he's
Just a
so freaking
shredder,
good.
dude. Just so it's,
Shredder.
It's so upsetting that he's so good.
My favorite thing about him is how effortlessly he hits like a cement truck.
Yeah.
He's so loud while being so relaxed. It's like
Yeah,
the
soul finesse,
ideal rock drummer. He's amazing.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. So Ethan was, I don't know, he texted me a while ago and was like, hey, my Ableton session, it's like I'm just getting the wheel like in the middle of a set. I don't really know what's going on. And at the time, I was running major headlining shows, like 10,000 people on a 2010 MacBook Pro.
Without like redundancy, like just literally one laptop.
One laptop. And I had completely stripped it. The only thing on it was Ableton.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But it had to be plugged into
Nothing's
power.
updated software.
Nothing's-
It
Oh my
just
Lord.
works, and we're not going to change anything.
It just
I'm scared
works.
to update
This
my
makes
Mac
me
right now.
want.
Yeah.
Hearing this makes me want to throw up. Like, oh no!
Absolutely. So it worked though. I never had a crash. I never had an issue.
Yeah.
Wow, thank God.
And Ethan was like, "Hey man, my laptop's doing something weird." And so he gave it to me for a couple of days, and I actually had to write a script for disabling graphics acceleration.
Whoa.
And it was because his computer was older and Ableton was newer, and
Yeah.
it, like something to do with the graphics of the program was
Interesting.
jamming up the
Never
system.
heard of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
But you figured it out.
I did figure it out.
You're that guy.
I was the.
Okay,
I
so,
am that
so
guy.
you actually do like coding and stuff?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
No.
You're just smart.
Yeah, I
able?
guess. Yeah, yeah. And
Damn.
yeah, I've always had like that sort of mind. Like
But you're a drummer.
I am.
You're not supposed to be smart.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7.
What comes after 4, guys?
No, but I know what you mean. I mean, we're tinkerers. That's come
Yeah.
up, especially like the drum techs we've had on the show.
Yeah,
we have
absolutely.
that. There's a reason why
Right.
it's usually the drummer that's the one doing playback. Right?
Yeah. And so, so I was able to fix his, and as far as I know, it's running flawlessly now for him.
All right. Well, I'm gonna come to you if I have any issues. Knock
You
on wood.
should. A lot of people do.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a lot of it is like to not update, right? Like if your shit's working, to not just update
Right,
your.
yeah.
Especially with new Mac software, you, like wait until it's approved. by
Yeah.
Ableton.
So I have since replaced
Yeah.
that computer.
Yeah.
Good.
I now have a 2024 MacBook Pro M3 Max.
Let's go.
124 gigs of RAM,
Yeah, yeah.
2 terabyte hard drive, like that thing.
Yeah.
It's like a, because I wanted this one to last me another 10 years.
See, I'm still on the M1.
You're a legend.
I have the first M1 Pro when those came out,
Yeah.
and it's great. But now I see that's like M3, M4. It's just like, oh my gosh, I kind of want to trade this one in. But
And then there was an interesting thing with Ableton about changing the buffer size to
Yes.
keep it running in the performance cores versus the efficiency
you're
cores.
talking my language. Yeah, like this since Apple switched chips.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
When they went
Okay,
from
they all reversed.
they went
right?
from Intel to Silicon chips,
Yeah.
or Apple Silicon, or however you say it. But yeah, so I had to figure that out too, because the first time I took it out, luckily it was a smaller show, but I was getting like just weird glitchy things, and
Yeah.
dug into Reddit and found out that that was the solution.
Yeah.
And I
Whereas, like,
think
the-
they fixed
yeah.
it now.
Is it fixed or isn't it still like you now want a lower
So I used
buffer size?
to put it in 128
yeah.
to keep it into the performance cores, but since then there has been an update and it reverted back to 512, and I haven't had any issues since they did some sort of update or something.
Yeah. Because I know people run on 64, especially for like real time, like MIDI.
Yeah, or if you're
SPD
running like
samples and,
yeah,
you know.
which I still haven't dug into that. That's going to be my next venture. I
next
want to get
project,
a Roland like rim trigger thing and dump it into MIDI, because I don't want to carry an SPD anymore. It's just another thing, another case.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a follow up for that. That's just,
But
that's the world that we're all in though. It's
yeah,
like
man, it is.
It's like, it's not even the drumming like we're talking about. It's
But if you don't have the SPD, how are you going to make a bonk sound?
because there's a little box that I have found that will convert an analog trigger to a MIDI note, and then you can plug that into Ableton.
Do you think this guy hasn't figured it out?
I don't think that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I really just want a rim trigger for claps and stuff that will automatically change over
you don't
from
need
song to
9
song.
pads.
I don't need 9 pads.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, if you're doing Broadway and you want a bunch of flexibility and you don't know what you're doing, like from song to song, you don't know where you're going.
True.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we kind of just sort of answered this next question. Like, generally speaking, how important is it, in your opinion, for drummers in this day and age to really be savvy with, even if they're not necessarily the one building an Ableton session, but on the gig, they're going to maybe have the laptop next to them.
Sure.
They're going to need to understand the software, like everything from like what we just talked about, like the buffer size.
Yeah.
Let me add a layer to what he just said.
Add a layer.
Sell it to me because I do not run shit.
You don't.
Okay? I don't touch the laptop.
So who runs it for your shows? Like when you're on tour?
Whoever the fuck else.
Really?
It's not me.
See, is it at least a keyboard player?
Often.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when it's the guitarist, that's a weird vibe.
Yeah.
Like I hate that look. Like
Yeah.
a Mac up front, upstage next to guitar, and
Yeah.
he's fiddling with it and the shit. Like that.
That's
to me
true.
is
It's not, you're right. It's not a good
vibe.
look. Yeah.
It's not a good look. If it's keys or drums, that's where it is. But I mean, you just don't want to make yourself more valuable.
Ooh.
You just like being status quo.
Let me put it
Dig
to you
into
this.
him. Let's
Let
go.
me put it to you this way. When I touch, what would you call it? Technology.
Okay.
It stops working, and it doesn't matter if I'm following the instructions or not.
Well, I mean, okay. There's got to be a reason for that. though.
I do think it's there's a reason.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a curse.
I mean, some of your gigs, like some of your gigs also just don't have tracks.
Sure.
True.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
But
You know,
I do. Fly Information has tracks.
Yeah.
We do play to tracks, and I'm not running them.
Dante.
Reese.
I'm I'm to the point now, man. I build sessions for a lot of people in town as well, but I like having it there because I actually will drop notes into Ableton. So I'll create like a MIDI track with no information on it, just create a bar and then type in some notes. So if I'm band leading, I know like what the next song is coming up, or if I have to hit a hotkey, or if it's what kind of transition it is, and I'll yell that into my talkback.
Okay.
So, yeah, man, I've been doing that for a long time though.
Well, shit. I mean, I'd love to be more valuable.
Dude, when I first started getting into running tracks myself, I didn't want to buy Ableton yet because it was, I don't know. I don't even remember how much it is.
Yeah,
But
probably a couple hundred.
yeah. And I was running tracks through MainStage.
Yeah.
I had figured out a way to run tracks through MainStage. You couldn't like cut and splice and fix things, you know?
Yeah.
It was just like a one shot, like we're starting the song and I hope we make it all the way through. Cool. But since then, I've gotten really good at Ableton. I can't tell you how many shows I've had to save from singers missing cues, or like it triggers a verse and the singer misses it, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna bring that back around in 4 bars, and then it, we'll jump back to it and go back into it. That type of thing happens all the time.
Yeah.
And an Ableton mistake is, it's like something in your oven has caught fire. And the only way to fix it is to just suck it up and get your hands in there and pull it out. And the longer you let it go, the worse it's going to get. And you just have to go in there and fix the problem. Just suck it up and do it. But I've gotten pretty good at it to where after the show, I'll recap with the artist and he'll be like, oh, did I miss that? It's like, yeah. But it's cool, man. I got you.
I mean, we're just
saved you.
professional problem solvers. is
Yeah,
really what it is,
absolutely. Yeah.
I do like the idea of saving somebody. That's appealing to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
You're right, though. Like, it's surprising how, especially some of these bigger gigs and artists, I mean, like Alec Parrish was on here telling about how, like a fun story where, like, Alana missed, she was given like a whiskey shot and then like missed
the cue.
the cue, or, for the verse, and he jumped back and,
Yep.
and then that was it. Like, now, okay, I trust Alec with this
Yeah,
gig.
man.
That's how
But
you
see,
do that. But
being the drummer and the timekeeper of the show, you need
to.
you need to be able to solve that problem and get the show running again.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously the most superior person in the band.
Oh, dude, if the drummer sucks,
so
the
why?
whole band sucks.
So why? So I've got to.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I got to steer the ship. So
Yeah, that's right.
you've made me realize that I need to take more responsibility.
Yeah.
Actually, and to be honest, I've been needing to get Ableton and just start messing around, just because it's a really useful DAW.
Dude, it is. And it used to just be a live program, but now people are recording in it and they're running tune through it and they're running effects through it and everything.
My buddies are all switching over. They're like, I'm recording everything with
really?
Ableton. Like, yeah, I'm able to do all of my full recording process is easier and better, and Ableton organizes everything beautifully. I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty cool to me, just as a writing tool. So
Yeah, that's pretty great.
maybe I change my tune and start being willing to run the laptop at shows.
Yeah, man. It's really fun building loops too. Like that's one of my favorite things to do, like an intro loop where like the artist can just vamp for a minute and a half and it's not dead space. And then triggering out of that into the verse and things like that. And there's tricks and tips to do that, like using MIDI notes to hit markers and things.
Have you messed around much with setlist plugins?
No, but there is it Setlist the one? No, there's
Setlist, and then
AbleSet.
I am like brand ambassador for AbleSet.
Are you really?
I'm not really, but I'm
No, I
yeah.
Pearl Drum's AbleSet. Fuck you.
Kind of a big deal. Yeah. A t-shirt is I love that app. I've been using it.
So I've been wanting
religiously.
to get into AbleSet because there's some really cool automation things that you can do with that. From what I understand, like as long as if you have an iPad that's like on the network, you can actually start the show remotely from an iPad, which is cool if you want to do a walkout thing. Yeah. And then there's a couple artists I play for that routinely forget lyrics, and you can actually set it up as a confidence monitor too. And it'll
you can
run.
put in lyrics. Yeah,
can put
I
in
was
lyrics.
just doing that the other day.
Were you?
As an experiment, not yet for a gig. Yeah, you can do so much with it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
man.
But I think it's important for people to still understand how to do it without plugins. Like how to do a stop, the IAC driver and stop tracks and all that kind of stuff. Because what if AbleSet? It's not perfect.
No.
Like if it glitches, let's say, because with one of the cool functions, you can just put it in a stop marker,
right?
And it'll just stop. You don't have to do any MIDI at all.
Oh, okay.
But like, what happens if that doesn't work for some reason? So like, I'm gonna put in like a MIDI stop after that.
Sure, just in case.
Probably as a backup.
Yeah.
That'd probably be smart.
When you're building sessions, do you like to do like transitionals as well, or do you just set it up to where the playhead just goes into the next song?
No, it stops and goes right to the next song.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it just depends on the
on
the gig and stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. There's so many cool things you can do.
Yeah.
And it's so much more professional to not play a song and stop, and then play a song and stop.
Yeah, it's
and then play a song and stop.
Hopefully we're getting beyond that more so. I mean, it's always going to exist, right? Because that's more of like the singer-songwriter.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm talking like a touring show or a live show that you're playing for a while. Like my goal is to hit spacebar on the laptop and then only trigger out of loops for the whole show.
It just runs.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, absolutely. I did one show with the band Levon when we were out with REO Speedwagon, where we set up his Helix, the guitar player's Helix, through a MIDI cable to where we could both trigger in and out of loops. So if like I was playing a groove for the loop and I couldn't reach over and hit next, he could just hit next on his pedal board.
Yeah, this is so much cool.
Synergy.
All this cool stuff you can do, yeah.
See? Think of all the cool things you could do.
Come on, Nick. I will teach you Ableton.
And you can call me when you get stumped.
With that, hey, you know what? The thing is, I have no excuse at this point. I'm like, really, the only excuse is my own laziness and busyness with learning other things. But I do understand that makes me more useful, marketable, all that jazz. And there's a part of me that's like, who the fuck cares? But there's the other part of me that's like, well, obviously I want to have like the stats. Why not raise the stats?
Absolutely.
Why not have an ability that's relevant to essentially the entire music industry right now? Absolutely. Especially living in Nashville.
Yeah.
It seems almost idiotic for me not to do that.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I'm torn, ladies and gentlemen.
I will tell you. So I play drums for Fillmore. He's like my main guy.
Okay.
Which we need to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Let me tell you the story, though.
Yes, but please do.
So I was out with the band Levon on tour with REO Speedwagon. We were direct support for them. And I was supposed to be – he had a last-minute show with Pitbull. And his normal drummer was already booked or something like that. And he was helping a buddy of mine move. And the buddy referred me. He had never heard me play drums before. He's like, oh, you should use Joel. He's great. I was like, and to this day, I'm like, thanks, man. His name's Marcus. He's really plugged into country music. He runs a podcast called The Smoking Section. Cool. And so I was out with them. I had them send me his current Ableton session, and it was a mess, an absolute mess. And where like some of the cues were like 1, 2, verse 4. Right. And I'm like, what? Ooh, what's going on here?
You're 1 mini note off. Probably. Yeah.
And it was set up in session view, not arrangement view. So you couldn't.
I was going to ask if you prefer one or the other.
Arrangement view for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you couldn't jump into like a bridge or something like that for rehearsals or anything like that. And so while I was on the bus with Levon, I rebuilt his whole show. Like let's put my headphones in, like from city to city. That's what I was doing. Yep. And I got off that tour. I showed up took my drums off the bus, drove directly to rehearsal with Fillmore, and just killed it. And he was like, dude, this is great. And we were able to, and I had never touched drums in his songs. Like because there was no time.
Yeah.
Right.
And so showed up, crushed it. And because I was able to move things around in Ableton and I took the time to correct some things and do some things correctly, that's eventually why he hired me to be his full-time drummer.
Dude, what a cool story. There it is.
Because I care. He told me, he goes, you're my favorite drummer I've ever had. I was just waiting for somebody to actually care.
Let's go. Love to see it.
All you got to do is care.
All you got to do is care, man.
I think that's the bigger
Dang.
point. Well, like, and what we're talking about in 2024 or 2025, Ableton is maybe the tool. But like, I think what we're talking about really is becoming valuable to an artist. And whether that's Ableton or whether it's drums or something subtle that you do or MD or in-ear monitors, like, how do you stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. And so
be an asset.
Yeah. So the very next day we went and played with Pitbull, 10,000 people, outdoor theater. It was wild.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And then he was like, hey, I got a show next week. You want to do it? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So then we I don't know, it was New Jersey or something like that. But we went and did that. And then after that, I was like, hey man, like, let's sit down and let's like build you a show. Because before I had made it to where it was very play stop. But because I had built the template, we sat down at his house, we had some beers. I was like, well, let's add a double intro here. Let's do a smooth transition here. Let's loop this chorus. And now we have one of my favorite moments in the show is a song called Somewhere with Beer, where we stop in the middle of the bridge and I come out and we all shotgun a beer while the loop's going.
Yeah, that's in the track. Yeah,
it's in the track. And I go sit back down and we trigger back out and we go through the rest of the song.
And that's what people are paying to see something happen.
That's what they want,
right?
Man. We'll bring people up on stage if like, somebody who's, I don't know, the show promoter or whatever, we'll bring people up on stage with us. I brought my dad up on stage one time.
That's cool.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
I just saw a show at the Basement East as a pop artist, and similar, like there was literally no dead space.
Yeah.
Every song went into another, or it was like a loop, or it was like she's tuning, and there were still some talking points.
Yeah.
But I think, so many of these singer-songwriters, I love them, but it's often just like song, stop, talk
Story.
about how I wrote the song, which like...
Yes.
Which, like, if you have to tell a story about your song, write better songs.
But it's also like it's art. Like you gotta just like play the song, and then like it'll like let people give them a chance. Don't feed them exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Present it to them, and then be like, okay, and then maybe say some words after, or maybe you don't need any words. Like, this is just here we are.
The details are what takes something from good to great, and those are the details that are important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole start, stop, and tell a story thing hurts my feelings experiencing it.
Dude, yeah.
There's a time and a place for it.
There is a time and a place for it, but I don't want a 5-minute story about a 3-minute song.
Right. Well, I don't even want a 30-second story before every song.
Yeah, absolutely not.
How about just give me...
let's knock 4 out, and then be like, oh, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, here's a cute story about this one song.
Yeah.
And here's 4 songs.
Yes.
They're right. Yeah.
That's what people want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get down to business, and then tell me something interesting.
Yeah.
And now business again. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Like one of Fillmore's thing is he'd be like, this song is about an ex-girlfriend. She took my dog. And then that's literally it.
That's all you need.
3, 4.
Yeah.
She took that bitch took his dog.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You've heard of Drum Supply, but you gotta see their shop. It's a drum shop experience like no other. They're packed with all the gear a working drummer needs, and so many parts, noise toys, and accessories. It's a toy store. Curated cymbals, kits, and snares, The hands-on percussion room is nuts, and their custom shop work is fast and affordable. Andy and the guys know their stuff, and they're ready to help. And the big news? They've just moved to an awesome new location near the corner of East Trinity Lane and Dickerson Pike. Still in East Nashville, just a couple miles from their old spot, the all-new drum supply is twice as big, featuring a dedicated cymbal room, a lesson space, and even more drum gear than ever. Go see the new drum supply shop for yourself. Now open 11 to 5 at 2211 Dickerson Pike and online at drumsupply.com.
Okay, so was the Fillmore gig your first time actually building a show like that? Kind of
No,
being an MD?
no, I had done it for a bunch of other people and a bunch of other bands. Like I said, I have people who call me to build sessions for them, and then I'll send it to them, and I build them a template too, and I'll like drop MIDI notes at the end of the session. It's like, oh, if you're going to add on to this, like here's the next, here's the stop, here's the loop thing, and stuff like that. Actually, we with Fillmore, we played in Charlotte, and we were direct support for Shabuzi.
Oh, sick.
And Shabuzi's MD watched me the whole time. He was like right there. And I saw him. I was like, okay, all right, cool.
What's up, guy?
What's up, man?
How come you watching me so close?
Izzy Fontaine. I don't think he's with Shabuzi anymore, but he used to play guitar for, I think, Girls Like Boys. I think so. But he's an LA guy. Super great guy. Super nice. And then during the changeover, he was like, dude, like, what are you guys doing? Like, how are you guys doing this? I was like, man, just come to the trailer after the show. I'll show you everything. And so they played their set. They killed it. It was so great. So good. Shabuzi's songs are so much fun. Like, they're just great country party songs. And so after that, he came over to my trailer, and I pulled out my laptop, and I was like, dude, this is how I do everything. Ask me questions. I sent him cues. I sent him a template. I sent him everything. And then he was like, dude, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And he was like, this is the opposite of gatekeeping. And I was like, yeah, man.
Dude, I was literally going to bring that up because in terms of like, do you feel that people tend to gatekeep and like?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a self-preservation gatekeep. You know, like I have to. If I'm the only one that can do this, then everyone has to come to me for it.
Right.
But I think that by not doing that, you're raising the entire industry as a whole.
Mm. Well, it seems you've been intentional on not gatekeeping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah, like. So I have those 2 in-ear rigs, right, that I'm renting out in the board and all that stuff. But Sunday, I went over to another band's house, and they were like, we just bought this thing. Like, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so I went over there, spent 3 or 4 hours with them and walked them through it and set it up for them and showed them how to do stuff. And it was just as a personal I knew the manager, and it was just a personal favor to her.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, we all kind of grow together.
Yeah. You know, there's no reason to hoard all the information.
No. Well, and like you said, you raise the level as a whole. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Even competition, air quotes, like that. The whole thing is.
But then you get known as being the good guy,
right?
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, and those people will never forget that you're the one. Like, yeah, he came over and showed me how to do the thing. Right. How could I ever forget or not want to honor that?
And that always comes back around.
That always comes back. Yeah, you never know who they're going to interact with, and they're going to get complimented on their session and be like, "Oh, it was actually my boy Joel."
Yep.
There you go.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Good work always reflects positively on
Absolutely.
You. Period.
Absolutely.
So I'm not super hip to Fillmore. Tell us about that camp and
man.
You guys still touring this year? Or?
No, we're done. We might have like 1 or 2 one-offs for the rest of the year, but he just did. So he signed to 305 Records earlier this year, which is Pitbull's label, and they're putting out an EP right now. They're working on it, and we were supposed to do a headlining tour, but because Fillmore got the T-Pain and Pitbull tour, we ended up not doing that, but he was doing with a DJ. So like we didn't get to go to all of those shows, which was a bummer. But we've done a bunch with Pitt. It's always wild. It's always fun. Yeah.
Is there one Pitbull story or show that you can remember?
Yeah. So the very first one.
First one, yeah.
10,000 people. He was 2 hours late.
Oh.
Yep.
No big deal.
He flies private everywhere. His plane was delayed in I don't know, Miami, I guess.
Sounds right.
We played the set, busted our ass to get off the stage, and then the whole crowd waited for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
For him to show up. And they all stayed.
Yeah.
They all stayed.
Was there like an announcement made or just music playing?
Yeah, just music. Yeah, they all stayed, and we were like, should we go play our set again? Like, but his plane was delayed, and so he landed in. It was just outside Atlanta. I don't remember where it was. Anderson, Georgia, maybe something like that. Yeah. 2 black Escalades picked him up from the airport, drove him directly backstage. Him and his whole crew got off, started the show immediately. And when we first started playing with him, I was like, I mean, that's cool. Like I wouldn't call myself a fan. Yeah. I knew every song.
Really?
Every single song. Like, you don't know. You are a fan.
There's probably more than I realize.
Yeah.
I know.
You don't know it, but you are.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like, because I wouldn't, it's not like I.
How can I deny that?
I've never once been like, oh, let's play Pitbull on Spotify or whatever. You know, I've never, but I knew every single song.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so,
it's like
but
Neil Diamond.
Yeah. And so
the Beatles.
Who the hell
yes,
is
I said
that?
it. Pitbull, the Beatles. Yeah.
They're like this, right?
Yeah, very much.
And so he starts his last song. His whole little crew gets in the Escalades. He says his goodnight, hands his mic off to the stage manager, gets in the car and leaves.
Damn.
And I was like,
probably ran the planes.
What a G.
What a G, bro.
That's the way to do it.
What a G. Yes.
Honestly, that might be one of the most giant flexes. Shows up, no fault of his own, but 2 hours late.
Like, yeah.
I think everyone stays.
Everyone stays.
Get out, kill it, and off, and immediately gone.
Immediately gone.
Elvis.
Back to the private jet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did he have a full band, or what was the setup?
Oh,
like?
dude, yeah. He had a killer band.
Sure, yeah.
And I talked to the drum tech about the setup. I think it was a Gretsch kit at the time. Or actually, no, it was a Mapex kit. And I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, we tried this. We tried DW. We went to Gretsch. We're trying to go back to DW. He's like, but we're just trying to like work out an endorsement deal or whatever. Huge kit. I want to say 5 toms and probably 17 cymbals.
Wow.
No spikes on the rugs. The guy just sets it up from memory every night.
Damn.
And there's so much stuff that he's not opening up the stands all the way. Like the DW stands are like, like an A.
Oh, I hate that.
And they're all like just legs in between each other and stuff like that. But his band killed it. They're so good. He also had a perk guy who had, some timbales and
it's probably everything under the sun.
Yeah, everything under the sun. He actually did have a couple of DW toms, like 2 of them from a collector series. I was like, bro, you're the perk guy. What do you got? Like $3,000 worth of drum set up here.
Interesting.
Bass player, keys player, guitarist, stuff like that. And there's dancers and like fire and all that stuff.
Honestly, respect. How cool
is
that?
Imagine,
dude, he puts on a live show and it's great. It's so good. You're a fan. You just don't know it.
I'm fascinated by this. Now, I really want to. I want to see him.
After this,
I have never, until this moment, been like, I want to see Pitbull live. Now I'm like, I can't wait for the opportunity to see Pitbull live.
Yep.
Yeah, so good.
Have you guys drawn anything from that show to Fillmore?
Yeah. So Tyler's now Tyler Filmore. He's now like leaning into like the Latin side of it. He's first generation Hispanic. And so now he's leaning into like Latin stuff a little bit more and a little bit more pop, which is actually really fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like lots of like cool hits and like things like that. And so we're starting to like kind of turn that up a little bit, which is fun.
Cool.
Yeah. It's like a little bit different than just, your like basic country groove that you're doing all the time.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah.
Dude, I need to come see a show.
More interesting rhythms,
That
man.
sounds so fun.
Yes, that's what we need.
Yeah. We've built some really cool moments in it as well. Me and his guitarist, like we sat down in a studio. We're like, I hate doing drum solos. Like I don't want to just do paradiddles around the drum set while nobody else is doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's engaging for the audience at all. All the drum nerds love it.
Totally.
But for the people, that's cool for a couple of fills. But
it takes so
you're going
much.
to do like a 2-minute feature. So we built a whole feature with like hits and like some halftime stuff and like some really cool, like over the bar, over the 1 fill into the 2 hit, like that, like a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool, I like building moments versus building, I'm the drummer, watch me.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
There's definitely, I've learned, I mean, I already knew it, but I've learned more deeply since playing downtown that there are things that I do for other drummers,
Yes.
and musicians, and then are things that I do for non-musicians.
The song.
And there are things that you do that are meant to, like, I find this musically at least good. And then I'm like, how do I put these things together in a way that I think is interesting, but then keeps you engaged?
Yep.
You, the normie out
Right.
there, you know?
And that's why you're hired.
Right.
Your job is to make people move and to feel the music,
Right.
not to focus on you.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
sell tickets.
Yeah, I've learned that honestly, I mean, less is when I was a kid, it was like I'm gonna, play the shit out of these drums and do everything I can. But now it's less is more. Like the less notes I can play, the better, and the better it sounds through the PA. The best grooves you've ever heard are, 1 or 2 kick drums in a measure, and just a snare and a backbeat. Like and then you're just like, oh shit, this is great.
Yeah. I love this whole discussion about moments and the live show.
Yeah.
Have there been anything that you've learned of what not to do? Or like as you're building shows, maybe a lesson of like, oh, maybe I thought this was going to be cool, but it didn't really land.
Stuff like that always gets sussed out in like a rehearsal.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it'll be like we'll talk through something and I'll make the change into like the tracks or whatever. And then we're like, that just doesn't feel right. But I've never encountered anything that was like just a huge flop. It was always stuff that we had worked through before.
Yeah, more minor things.
Yeah. You do build, for instance, you try to cater to the artist, right? And so we were doing a mashup one time into a Katy Perry, or no, whatever. We're doing a mashup into a very popular song, and I had to. He just kept missing the cue, so I had to grab the lead vocal line and then drop that into the count in, so he knew what the actual lyrics were leading into, stuff like that. Yeah. But everything you can do to assist those who are not running Ableton.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
Especially people who are new to tracks. There's a lot of artists in town who, I can't tell you, I've probably played with 15, 20 people in the last year who have never done tracks.
Same.
Or have never, have never done in-ears, or have never done anything like that. And it's like, okay, well, let's try it. Let's see how it goes. And a lot of times they're actually pretty good. But every once in a while you get somebody who's they just can't keep up with the click track or something like that, or a guide track.
I've experienced that recently, whereas it may be I'm the only one with the click in the cues, so I'm locked in. I'm feeling great, but then everyone else is I can feel them start to rush.
Yeah,
that's where you have to command the ship.
Yep.
As a drummer,
drive the boat.
Or it's they all have click, but they don't necessarily know how to play with it as well as we would.
Yeah.
What's going on, Nashville drummers? I know there's a lot of you that are eager to learn more about how you can use Ableton for playback on the stage. And the tricky part is there's not one central location that you can go to learn this topic. So over the past year, I've been working with drummers that you probably know on a website called Groove MPL. And one of the focuses is Ableton and how you can use it on the stage. So every month on this site, we have professional drummers diving into topics that are gonna help you use Ableton on the stage. We have people like MJ Milam breaking down how he does his walkout track for Lauren Watkins. We have the host of this podcast, Dan Ainspan, breaking down some of the basics. We got Timothy Burkhead showing how he plays on stage with Maggie Rose. So you can sign up today at groovempl.com with the discount code NDP for Nashville Drummers Podcast, and you're gonna get 50% off your first month. And I look forward to meeting you all.
Well, if it's okay, I would like to go a little backwards in time right now. You brought up when you were a kid, more is more kind of situation. So you're a kid, you get into the drums. What does that look like? Who are you first listening to? What are you nerding out about at that time?
Dude, so for me, it was Paramore.
Ooh.
Zach Farrow.
Yep.
Great first big influence.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, yes, this is it. And I actually met him at an airport.
You were not incorrect is the thing.
Right.
I
wasn't incorrect. Yeah. But that was that was everything I wanted to be. And he was younger than me, I think he is. But yeah, man, that was probably my biggest influence growing up.
Dang.
Yeah. And the whole pop punk scene and emo scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the music that we listened to in high school. That we probably still listen to.
Yeah.
I
do. Some of us are still listening
Warped
to that.
Tour's come back. Are you
No, I'm not going to go to that. Playing shows and playing festivals now, I'm so jaded by all of that. And I'm excited if I get to see people like while we're also doing a show.
Sure.
But it's pretty hard for me to stomach going to a huge outdoor festival where I want to camp on the ground and
Thank you.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love and appreciate that these festivals provide an opportunity for all these bands that I love to get together and people to see them in mass. Beautiful.
Right.
However, for the most part, not for me.
Yeah.
Unless the lineup is just so absurd, then I'm like, well, I can't miss that.
Dude, yeah, you're telling me. I just people who go to like Bonnaroo every year.
Yeah.
And we're locals, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go to that. It sounds like hell.
I don't. Like, can I go for one day and just go home?
Yeah,
introvert,
I
extrovert.
think you can, yeah.
I'm an extroverted introvert.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I would describe myself in that same way.
Yeah, like I can talk to anybody. I can, for sure, keep a conversation going. But sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to go.
Yeah. But the marker is, does it drain you? Even if you can enjoy it, is it draining to be around people for an extended period?
No, not really. Okay. Unless I don't like them.
Okay, that's fair. That's
fair.
Yeah.
But if it's just like general public or like casual friends, typically not.
I desperately need alone time.
Really?
Yes. I have to, like, after a lot of social anything, I'm like, okay, cool. That was great. I love that. But now I also need quiet time.
Yeah.
And
I'm probably more so that way than you.
Oh,
I can't imagine doing more than one of these a day.
Totally. Well, that'd be exhausting.
Granted, these are pretty long, so like.
But a festival is like that, but just unending.
Yeah.
It's just that sound.
Yeah.
It actually makes me kind of feel a little panicky just thinking about it.
Dude, speaking of Paramore, I just thought of this. When I was a kid, I made a cover song, a YouTube drum cover
as we all did. Yep.
Let the Flames Begin. And that lived on YouTube. I have since taken it down. No,
no, okay.
No, I've since taken it down.
Yeah,
because it was shot on like this horrible camera, and it's like glazy over it, and it wasn't super great looking back on it. But I made a couple Paramore covers for YouTube's.
Yep.
Did you? Oh, let me ask this: did you make an audition video when?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, baby.
And I think I went at the time. What was there? They had like a forum. I don't remember what it was called. Paramore did. And I put it up there and I was like, hey, everyone, send this to Haley. And I think I was blocked after that. Yeah, man. But I've actually seen them live 5 times.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like throughout my whole life. Yeah. I saw them in California once or twice and then a few times here.
They're on my list. I've never seen them live. I'd love to see them live.
I got to see them also when Aaron Gillespie played for them.
Wow. How was that?
Which was cool. I actually met Aaron like last month, and he was he tried to give me his hi-hats. And I was like...
I mean, he tried to.
Well, let me finish the story.
Why did you not accept the hi-hats?
Well, let me finish the story, and then we'll get to that. But yeah, so I've seen them a bunch, and I saw them with Zach and with Aaron, and then with Zach again on the most recent tour.
Yeah.
But so we were cutting a track for Fillmore, and Aaron Gillespie was going to play drums on it. And I talked to the producer. I was like, hey, man, like, I would love to meet him. Like, I'm going to have to play these parts anyways. Like trying to sell it. Like, I'm going to have to play these parts anyways. Can I come and hang out? He was like, dude, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I got there early. I put up the kit, and Aaron came in, and he's like, oh, are you going to cut these? I was like, no, man. I was just like setting them up. Like, you can do it. And so he played the song. Turned out great. It's not out yet, but it's a great song. And we were just talking shop, like talking gear and stuff like that. And he had a set of 17-inch K-Cons for hi-hats, like 2 crashes, which is, I do something similar. I was like, and I'm just, like talking shit, just talking the shit, and I was like, I really like how those sound. He goes, oh, you want them? It's like, no, man, that's okay. That's okay. He's like, dude, I've got like 10 pairs.
Of course he does.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, man, that's okay. I appreciate it, though. Thank you. Because I didn't want to be the guy who
said yes.
Who actually,
yeah. I just didn't want to be that guy.
I get that.
Yeah. They did sound really good, though.
Dang.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a world, though, where you just
I have his number
whatever
now, though,
drum
so.
you hear, you just say, yeah, that sounds great, and then you just get offered that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be so cool.
I'd have like 30
It's the
snare
world that I
drums.
want to live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I'd be in trouble. Well,
Yeah.
that snare sounds great. I wouldn't be a homeowner. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, he's such a nice guy. We were talking, he just had gotten a new set of microphones that I had also got, and we were talking about that, and it was great. Really good.
So growing up, drum lessons, education, what does that look like?
Dude,
for
I've
you?
never had a lesson in my life.
Ooh, self-taught.
Self-taught.
Yeah, very
I would be better if I had,
sure.
but I've never had a drum lesson.
Can you read music? Like music
No.
theory?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Nope.
But I mean, we've talked about that before, where it's like how necessary is it? It definitely
I would probably be a better
You'd
musician.
be better. It can elevate
Yeah.
you, but
Right.
in terms of you're hired, you're getting gigs
Right,
still
right.
without that.
Right.
So,
So
you know.
it's not necessary, but I would be better if I
Sure.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents made me practice when I was a kid, but it was
Yeah.
like, go out to the shed and play drums.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. And then I just went out there and banged things around.
All right. We ask this every interview. First drum set that you remember?
It was $200 on eBay. It was called Adams Percussion.
Whoa.
The hi-hats would flip inside out
Oh,
if you stepped on
great.
it too hard. Came with all the hardware,
Yeah.
pedal, throne, hardware, everything, cymbals. It was black. And then I unwrapped it and I painted flames on it.
Like not this logo, is it?
No.
Okay. 'Cause that's Pearl Adams. That's
Oh,
like,
no.
we
This
distribute
was-
all the Adams percussion instruments.
Oh, really?
Like marimbas and stuff.
That wasn't
yeah.
the logo though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was it. And then from there, I went to a PDP kit.
Yep.
That was like my first like nice kit, you know.
Birch?
No, it was Maple PDP. And then from there, I actually had a Risen Drums endorsement, which is now Franklin Drum Co. And then when they went over to Franklin, I sold my kits and I went to DW, and that's what I should have done all along.
Mm.
I've got 2 DW kits. One's an acrylic kit for like pop stuff, and then one's a cherry Purple Heart.
Yep.
Huge drums. They sound phenomenal.
So do you have a home studio here as well?
No, I don't. So we just have that rehearsal space.
Yep.
When I owned a house, I did have a home studio, but I've since moved to an apartment in downtown Nashville, and we've got a rehearsal space. It's great. I have one of those Tama True Tone practice kits.
Oh, dude, I love those.
I went through like 4 iterations trying to find something, and I was at Forks, and I saw this, and I sat down on it, and I was like, this is it. This is literally it.
They're unquestionably winning the game on practice kits.
It's amazing.
That's
Like
it
the-
is the best feeling and sounding.
It's wild. It's so wild. And so I have that and some Zildjian low volume, like L80s or whatever.
Yeah, I have those.
Nice.
Love
Yeah.
those.
And those are,
Yeah.
that's like in my apartment. And that's what I use to like learn material now until an actual rehearsal.
Yeah.
That's it's hard not being able to play your actual
It really
instrument in the home.
is. It is.
But that's
That's the
pretty
best you
dang
can
good.
do.
Yes.
Yeah. Like the toms feel like toms. Honestly, the best part is the kick drum
Agreed.
where it would like give, like you can dig into it and it kind of gives a little bit. It's not like hitting a piece of wood.
My friend Forrest Rice told me to check those out, and then I was in Forks and they had one set up, and I was like, ooh, Daddy likes. I need one of these. Sorry.
You said that last time.
I did.
Different context, but
Yeah,
it's still said.
totally. This one's much more appropriate.
Yes. You're doing great. Yeah.
This is we're going up in
Our
the world.
shirts are on still.
Yep.
We can take them off. Oh, sorry.
You can if you want to, but it's,
I want one. That's all. I'm
Dude,
gonna say.
it's
That's
great.
all I'm gonna say.
They are
Tama,
expensive.
if you want to send me one of those, I wouldn't be mad at you.
They are expensive.
Yes.
Out of like the practice kits, like they are the most expensive, but
Yeah.
they are the most inspiring to play.
That's the thing.
I'm rocking the low volumes, and then I have my acoustic drum set up in my apartment with reflex pads on the shells.
Okay.
So it's kind of a, I mean, it's not hybrid. It's not anything. It's not electronic. It's not acoustic. It's just practice pads.
Yeah.
But the cymbals are great.
I did the mesh heads for a while. I had a
Yeah.
little bop kit,
Mhm.
like an 18, 12, 14, and I did that. But
I had that
it-
Evans,
yeah.
that real feel like kick pad, you know?
Yeah. I destroyed those.
Yeah.
I went through like 3 of them.
Yeah, you just blast.
Yeah,
through
they
them.
would just like fall apart. And
That has been my worry because I want to practice a lot.
yeah, and I'm not I'm a pretty hard player. So
I
like,
was like, I bet you hit pretty hard, don't you?
yeah.
Just I'm looking at you. I'm seeing tattoos. I feel like this dude hits hard.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I don't know why. I typecast you. Probably a little racist of me. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
That's it. Nice racist.
That's it.
I always knew.
Yep.
But now
And the podcast is over.
Canceled.
How do you feel about being on the last National Drummers podcast?
Hey drummers, do you need a place to practice on actual drums? Drumbox has locations in Lafayette and Longmont, Colorado, and their newest location is right here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can book sessions online and get the space to yourself. Each Drumbox location is fully equipped with 2 kits, cymbals, hardware, and even sticks are provided. 30-minute, 1-hour, and 2-hour sessions are available at www.drumbox.space. Use the coupon code ANDP25 for 25% off your first session. The coupon code is valid at all 3 locations. Again, that's www.drumbox.space.
So let's recap. So you're going to learn Ableton and make yourself more valuable and get
That's
a
a 2025 goal for you.
Wow.
That's a pretty
Big year for you.
yeah,
It's a big year.
Yeah.
It's totally doable.
dude. I'm gonna plant some more herbs in the backyard. I'm gonna learn Ableton. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good year.
Great.
What are you? Hey, there we go. What are you doing in 2025?
Yeah.
What's that gonna look
Oh,
like?
you know what? That hasn't really started to fill out yet. We're supposed to do a headlining tour with Fillmore. And then, I mean, I get calls for gigs, 2 or 3 weeks out. So that's pretty much my thing. I have a full-time day job too. So I have a full-time day job, play drums on the road, rental rigs, and then I actually own a handyman business as well. I take care of like residential, like Scouts Barbershop. I do all of their break fix stuff and things
Very cool.
like that. Yeah.
Dude, man of many talents.
It's a lot, but it's fun.
What's the day gig?
I am a security contractor for the Department of Defense.
Damn.
You
So cool.
are one of the most interesting people that has been in here.
I would
Thanks,
agree.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I technically work for a construction company. We build military bases and embassies. And we have to secure them during the construction phase, and we turn it over to them when we're done.
I'm fascinated by you, dog. I love this. This is great.
Yeah. So,
How'd you get into that world?
dude, I was recruited. So
Okay.
I have another anecdote for you.
Yeah, please.
So I was recruited because I worked actually at M&A, the airport, B&A. And the construction company that built B&A really liked me. And they're like, hey, you should come over and do this with us. And I was like, okay. And that was really it. But have either of you ever parked at the airport?
Yes.
I am the voice of that parking system.
No fucking way.
Yeah. So when you go to
I have never, but
when you go to
yeah.
get your ticket at
that's incredible.
the parking system, it's me saying, "Welcome to the Nashville International Airport. Please press the yellow button for your ticket."
Oh my God. I have heard your voice on multiple occasions.
Yeah, that's me.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I'm a little starstruck. You know what?
Can you say it again? Can you do it as if it's the?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look away. Well, I've never parked, so I guess Nate, this is for you.
Just imagine you roll
It's like
up
hearing Siri and then like
and you roll down your window.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Welcome to the Nashville International Airport. Please press the yellow button for your ticket."
I'm there.
I just thought I was at the airport. That was good.
We ordinarily will we live not all too terribly far from the airport, so
Sure.
we'll just Uber there.
Absolutely.
But on the last occasion,
If it's like a quick turnaround, you're like, the cost of Uber versus a day of parking. Yeah.
and it was like a $50 Uber for whatever
Oh, man.
ungodly reason.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, let's just park there, and then when we get back, we can just get straight in our car.
Yeah.
And we were going to anyway. There was a family death, and we went it was a whole thing, and it was tragic and terrible. But bottom line, I heard your voice.
You did.
And I didn't know I was going to meet you, but it was preordained.
Okay, so I feel like there's a ton of questions all of a sudden.
Go ahead.
We just learned so much about you in like 30 seconds.
I know.
Incredible. Do people know that about you? Is that like a 2 truths and a lie?
No, that is a fun one to say for 2 truths and a lie,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's too specific. So it's
I mean, now everyone's gonna know. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're gonna
Everyone.
publish this. Yeah.
literally everyone. No, it's actually, I don't really tell people that much, but all of my friends tell everyone.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah,
They'll be like,
I'm
oh,
gonna-
this is Joel. Hey, by the way, he's, and it's
I'm gonna
like,
tell 5
it's the
friends
first
tonight.
thing that I'm going to say about you.
It's
Yeah.
the first thing that everyone says.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That I'm honestly, it's pretty
So
wild.
do you do other, like, are you a voice actor, or was that
No,
literally because you were there?
So when I worked at the airport, I was the infrastructure design manager. So I actually designed all of the remodel that was done. I did all of that like 7 years ago.
Damn, yeah, it looks incredible.
Yeah, so like the new
So
deconcourse,
cool,
the
yeah.
new international terminal, moving the ticket counters to the sides, putting TSA back in the middle, all of that. And so part of that was we redesigned the parking system, and we were supposed to get a celebrity to do it. And there was just a scheduling issue, and we had to get it done. And so I told my boss, it's like, I have a studio at home. Like, do you want me to just go record it? And she was like, yes, please, just get it done.
Oh my gosh.
And that's it.
So that's how that shit happened. You always wonder, like, where these voices come from.
It was just because they needed
Yeah.
specific responses for that specific
Sure.
system. And
Yeah.
Whoa. And also my brain, of course, went to what celebrity could have read it. I went to Matthew McConaughey, Chris Walken.
well, they were going to try to do like a
William
local
Shatner.
It was
country
probably Dolly.
celebrity.
It was definitely
yeah,
Dolly.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would make more sense, but I liked my idea.
I would too.
But I'm glad it's your voice. Let me just say that. Also,
I wish I got like
I'm gonna park
half
there
of a
just to hear
penny
you
for every
now.
time. I don't get anything.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
it's like, yeah, it's worse than Spotify, man. Like, literally 0.0. That honestly, that makes so much sense out of your path. You are thoroughly that guy, a man of details and structure, and steering the ship.
Dude,
Steering the ship.
That's
great.
you.
Yeah, 100%.
How cool!
Thanks, man.
You're a G, man.
Thanks,
How
man.
cool!
Yeah. Yeah. Where do we go from there?
I don't know. I'm like,
love you, man.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, see you later.
Yeah.
You mentioned in your notes, like, showing up to rehearsals prepared.
Yeah, man.
Talk about that. Like, what's your mindset? I mean, obviously, that's like, of course, everyone's going to say that.
Yeah. So,
but you mentioned, like, obviously you have the main gig, but then you, similar to me, like, I have a lot of different artist gigs where a lot of time it's like last minute, or it's you have 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a few days.
yeah.
What does that process look like for you? Do you chart?
So my biggest insecurity is being the reason that the band can't do something.
Ooh.
Like, I never want to be that guy. I never want to be the weakest link in the chain. And that terrifies me. Absolutely terrifies me. So I do everything I can in order to prepare for a gig. Sometimes it's so last minute or stuff like that. And that's when I'm using Ableton to cheat, where like I'll drop a marker in and say like groove. Or I did a show with Hunter Girl a few weeks back. No rehearsal, no nothing. We were headlining, and it was like the first time I played the songs was on stage. And so I actually went in and I dropped in MIDI notes where the kick pattern was. And I was like
So you
watching
can literally
Ableton.
see.
Yeah, because it was like it wasn't like a typical thing
Yeah.
for like the musical interlude between a couple things, or like the intro. And I was dropping in like MIDI notes and I was literally playing Rock Band. Like,
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
yeah,
The
like
scrolling
looking over, I'm like,
yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, man. So I just never want to be the reason that we can't do something.
Yeah.
And
And good on you, like having the wherewithal to use the tools
Yeah.
to benefit you. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not cheating. It's literally being
yeah,
prepared.
absolutely.
It's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
And-
done that with, so one of the features of AbleSet is you have a performance view. So on the iPad, you can have
Yeah.
like the song, and it can be pretty bare bones, but if you put in notes within the markers, so I've done that too. Like instead of a chart, I just have like, I'll put in any sort of text as, kick, 4 on the floor.
Yeah, sure.
And that'll show up for the verse.
Yeah, so
that kind of stuff,
I'll do
yeah.
something similar. I'll drop a marker in Ableton and be like 4/4, or
Same
drive it
idea.
here, or
Yeah.
like there's a push hit on this measure, stuff like that. Yeah, learn Ableton, man. You'll be able to play more shows with less preparation.
That's fair. That's
This
fair.
whole interview just for Nate to learn Ableton, essentially.
we invited you to this
Yeah.
to talk about.
This is my intervention.
AA Anonymous, Ableton Anonymous.
Listen,
There we
you've been
go.
avoiding this for
Ableton
so
Anonymous,
long,
yeah.
and we've been hinting at like family get-togethers. You really need to learn Ableton, and stop drinking. I don't drink.
It's an Ableton intervention, yeah.
Yeah.
What about strictly drum preparedness? Any sort of things that you do on the practice kit or warm-ups before a show?
No, man, I don't really do any warm-ups or anything like that. Preparedness-wise, no, not really, man.
Yeah.
It's like, as long as I've got good heads on it, and like if we're going out on a run or whatever, I pull my kit out, I'll tune it up, make sure everything's good, replace any heads that need to. I go through a lot of snare heads. I love Remo heads, but they just do not last. But I love them. And like I broke one this weekend in Phoenix. And so I'll just go through, make sure the kit's tip-top shape, stuff like that. Make sure all my stuff's good to go. Microphones, cymbals, everything like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I ask you something as a person who, and I'm not in any way trying to convert you to Evans, but I am an Evans guy.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about Remo heads that you love so much?
It's more so what I don't like about Evans heads.
Okay.
So I feel like Evans heads out of the box are pre-tuned. Like they already have a tone to them. They already have a thing that they do. And they're really good at that one thing. But I just feel like the feedback and the feel that I get from Remo heads is just unmatched.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I typically play Evans, but I think I know what you mean.
I was an Evans guy for a long time. I played ProMark sticks and Evans heads for many years. And I've just sort of taste of change and kind of I've discovered new things. And there's just some stuff that Remo does. And they still make their heads with glue and instead of rolling it over and crimping the edge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which has caused me to break a lot of, like I've had many heads separate from like the hoop, stuff like that. But I just feel like they're worse made but best sounding heads.
Interesting. Yeah, I always like to take a chance to have someone try to sell me on something they love as opposed to the thing that I'm into.
Absolutely.
Because I'm just not that dogmatic a guy. You know what I mean?
You're a big Istanbul guy?
I'm with Meinl.
Meinl, that's what it was. Meinl, yeah. Yeah, I heard you tried to convert. What were you trying to convert Ethan over to Meinl?
Yeah, I think it's working.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's working. We'll see.
Ethan was a big, I was looking for a clap stack, and I'm a Zildjian guy. But Zildjian doesn't make clap stack anymore. They make some sort of effects hi-hat thingy that it doesn't sound good.
There was that whole drama with...
Yeah. And Ethan was like, just get an Istanbul. I was like, man, I want all my stuff to match. Like I just OCD a little bit. I hate it. But I got a clap stack. It's just the right one.
Hey man, if your company doesn't make one, you got to go out. Here's the... Do I go there?
Go there.
It's a shape. And you can't patent a shape. That's insane. I'm just going to say that. Every cymbal company on the planet has a ride cymbal, a China cymbal, a crash, a splash, hi-hats. It's a shape. Everyone should just be able to make the damn shape, and it's okay. Maybe I'm going to get canceled for saying that. Maybe I don't understand. Someone educate me, please. I'm so interested in being educated. Come at me with all of your hate.
Clearly,
please.
just don't understand shapes, Nathan.
Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. I've been storing that one up for a little bit.
I see that.
Clearly.
Yeah. Hey, drummers, are you worried about losing your hearing? Did you know noise exposure can cause permanent hearing loss? Dr. Jason Baker with Music City Audiology provides mobile concierge services to musicians in Nashville and surrounding areas. That's right. He is 100% mobile and will come to you. If you need ear impressions, custom in-ear products, ear cleaning, hearing tests, or information about protecting your ears, he's your guy. Music City Audiology cares about drummers and wants to help you maintain your most valuable tools, your ears. Visit MusicCityAudiology.com to book your consult today. That's MusicCityAudiology.com. I miss that sound.
Absolutely.
I want to have like minimum in my ideal setup, at least 2 snares and that. Because
2 snares.
Yeah.
I haven't gone that far yet. It's just another thing to carry.
Yeah.
It's just another stand.
Even with how hard you hit and break snares?
I carry the backup snare.
Even but not 2. Yeah.
But not 2.
Yeah, 2 backup snares would be a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of carnage.
Yeah. I have a great video on Instagram of me changing the backup snare in that bridge that I was telling you about with Fillmore.
Okay, I'll check that
where
out.
like the snare broke in the middle of the song and then the loop started and I'm quickly panicking, changing a drum. And then I run up and shotgun the beer and then I come back and we play the song.
Incredible.
Yeah. Got to carry a second drum.
How do you stay? Because a lot of the stuff we're talking about is like for a lot of people, pretty high stress situations.
Yeah.
Let alone playing drums in front of 10,000 people, but being the person behind like the keyboard or the laptop or the trackster that's going to control all that. And when things go wrong, how have you sort of handled that pressure?
Man, I try to, I do take care of my body.
Yeah.
I work out like 4 times a week. I generally just, I don't really get mad. Like I'm not a very upset person. Don't go on a whole lot of rants and tangents.
Love this guy.
But I think just with experience, I mean, I've been playing drums for 24, 25 years now. So that part is easy, you know what I mean? But when Ableton came out and starting to run tracks again, yeah, there were definitely some times when it was like, okay, this is my first time doing it. Like, I hope nothing goes wrong. It's just experience.
Yeah, and you gain confidence when things...
Yeah.
You know,
after you save a couple shows and you realize, okay, well, it's not really the end of the world.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're not saving people's lives. We're not delivering babies or changing out organs. We're playing music.
Yeah. That's a good perspective to have. It may feel that way in the moment.
It does. It absolutely does.
Not, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
It's easy to take the thing like when something goes wrong, like this deadly blow to your heart, to your whatever, to your ego.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's the end of the world. Dude, it's a show.
Yeah. And there have been times that I've messed up and then I've gone back and I'm like, you're kicking yourself.
Yeah.
And then you see a cell phone video of it or whatever and you're like, oh, it really wasn't even that bad.
Yeah. I've been that.
It was just like you kind of fumbled something real quick and then it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The drummers in the crowd knew, but
Yeah.
the normie, I didn't know.
Yeah, you definitely lost like 10 Instagram followers from that. But otherwise-
Unfollow.
Yeah.
This guy sucks.
Hey, man, I heard that. Whatever, nerd. I don't care you heard it. Yeah. Loud and proud, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think you took the song?
Should we do some
Let's do it.
some closing wrap-up questions?
Yes. Do you have one you want to start with?
I don't. I can think of one, though. So, okay, as a Nashville native, I've asked this before, but especially for you, give me one thing that you love about the city and one thing that you either, dislike or wish would be different.
Sure. There's no other city like Nashville. I mean, the one thing that I love about it is the incredible music scene and the camaraderie that comes with that. I mean, I've gotten a call 2 hours before a whiskey jam and be like, hey, like, can you come play this? That doesn't happen anywhere else. That's not going on a Monday. That's not happening anywhere else. Yeah. And I love that about Nashville. So I feel like, yeah, old school Nashville was cool, but I think everybody that's moved here and everybody that's come to do music, I mean, that's just grown the industry and that's presented a lot more opportunity for everybody else.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
And then,
sorry,
go
I
ahead.
didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say already that's one of the best and most balanced takes I've ever heard from a Nashville native. because I've talked to so many who are just like, yeah, fuck all of you.
Yeah.
Everybody who's new, I don't like you. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, dang.
I mean, you can't be like that. Yeah. That's how you become old and curmudgeon-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as someone who's going to ever be curmudgeon-y, which is great.
I probably won't. And then the dislike is obviously traffic. Like, just getting I had to go to a rehearsal last Friday night, and it took me 50 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he lived in Smyrna, so that's his fault. But
yeah, who lives
Tony,
that's
it's
a
your
mistake.
fault.
No shade on Smyrna. Smyrna's just fine. But
it's great, but I live in the city, so
And traffic sucks. I will say I appreciate some of the newly paved highways.
Yeah,
and roads. It seems like they're starting to make some progress or fixing some of those. I'm thinking of exit 47A is usually where I get off to my neck of the woods, and there's like a pretty big bump that is no longer a bump.
Yeah,
so
you're talking about right
appreciate
there at the roundabout or the turn that goes around. Yeah,
Yeah, like right.
I used to
east.
hit that on my motorcycle and like get shot up.
There you go. Yeah.
if you were a spice, what would you be?
A spice?
Y'all thought I was going to ask about noodles, and I fucking didn't.
Let's go.
Bow tie?
I'm proud of you, Nate.
Bow tie?
He answered
No, I'm
it
just
anyway.
kidding.
Hey, but hey,
No,
great
no,
choice.
I'm teasing,
Great
I'm
choice.
teasing.
Yeah.
If I was a spice, here's the thing, man, is I don't cook.
Oh.
I can.
But wouldn't you want to make yourself more valuable?
To me, I'm already valuable to me.
You guys are gonna fight after this.
Imagine if you could make delicious food for yourself in your home.
I can. I just don't.
You don't.
I don't. Yeah, it's just cooking for myself is the most unappealing thing I could ever think of doing.
I'm the same way.
Interesting.
I hate it so much.
Really?
I'll cook breakfast and make coffee or whatever, but like lunches and dinners and stuff like that, I will do everything I can to not do that.
Is it
But
the cooking itself or is it the cleanup?
no, I'm actually a very clean person, so I enjoy cleaning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Like my apartment's pretty much always spotless.
Mm.
But as far as like a spice, I put Italian seasoning on eggs.
Whoa, that's different.
Whoa.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
Salt and pepper, Italian seasoning.
It's going in the notes.
Okay, related to Nate's question, give us some of your go-to Nashville food spots.
Oh, okay. They're all going to be chains. Yeah. Like Las Palmas that's my go-to. I like Coco's Italian. It's a good spot. Maggiano's Italian is great too. Man, I'm kind of just like a Chipotle bro.
Chipotle, bro.
Yeah.
How about coffee?
Oh, okay. I like. Oof.
He's like, all right, yeah, let me roll the sleeves for this one.
Well, I guess it depends on what side of town I'm in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I like Red Bicycle, Barista
Red
Parlor.
Bicycle.
I live across the street from a Just Love. That's fine, but it's close, so it's nice. But yeah, I'm a sucker for a vanilla latte. That's like my go-to.
Without milk.
I accidentally this morning got normal milk and spent a lot of time on the toilet.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Lactose intolerant.
Apparently.
Wow.
Or just
Yeah.
maybe your body's not used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had milk. I don't think I have any tolerance. I haven't had milk in like years.
Yeah, man.
Trying to diminish my dairy intake.
It was rough.
But yeah.
I was having a hard morning.
Have you tried raw milk?
I haven't.
No.
We've been on
Like
the raw.
unpasteurized, unhomogenized.
We're on.
Where you have to scrape a film off the top of it.
It's great. You don't have to scrape it; just shake it in. It's good.
It's disgusting.
It's awesome. It's so good.
I know
You're
it's
not
good for
selling me on this
you.
here.
I know.
It's so good.
I understand that it is, but
And it's
I
supposed
just
to be-
can't get. I can't get over
I
that.
don't know. There are people. My wife has had dairy problems in the past.
Okay.
But this she has no problem with.
Really,
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, man.
man. I have a really good friend of mine that also swears by it, and I just, it just kind of weirds me out a little bit.
Okay. Last question. Where do you want people to follow you?
Instagram is fine. Joel from Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, I made that name as a joke like 10 years ago to kind of piss off a girl, and it's sort of stuck, and now it's great.
What? Backstory.
Well, when I first moved back here, I was with somebody and I was re-meeting people, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm from Nashville. I'm a Nashville native," and she'd be like, "No, you're not. You spent 10 years in California or whatever." And then so one day I secretly changed my name to Joel from Nashville, and then she found it like 3 days later.
That's a great tactic.
And then it's stuck ever since. Yeah,
Hey, man, you are from Nashville.
I am.
Yeah. That is indelible.
That's
It
awesome.
is. I've only met like 5 people who are also.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not very
I mean,
many.
we've had some on the show too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're few and far between at this
Yeah.
point.
Okay, I know you said last question. I have one more question though.
My bad.
You seem-
I'm such an asshole for believing that you were.
Oh, no,
having
you're good.
another-
Yeah.
All right, last question.
We just keep going back and forth till one of us has the last question. You seem like a man with a routine. You are, okay, good assumption. Give us your 60-minute, waking up and then just kind of your day-to-day routine. What does that look like for you?
So if I'm being honest, my whole day focuses around going to the gym and making time to do that.
Yeah.
So I'll typically go either at noon or in the afternoon. And then everything else that I have to do will be based around that time frame. So I'll wake up, make breakfast or order breakfast.
Yeah, you don't cook. Well, the eggs you make, right?
Yeah, sometimes. Like I said, there's a coffee shop across the street. So that's
This guy's
fine.
keeping Nashville in business. That's
I
why.
am. I am. It's for the economy.
Because he's from Nashville.
I'm building the economy back. And so I'll wake up, eat some breakfast, do some work for my day job, and then go to the gym, come back, drink a protein shake, shower, get ready for the day, finish out some work, go to a rehearsal or go meet some friends or something like that. But because that has become very important to me in the last, I'd say 3 years, it's like kept me level-headed. It's been a place to like, not vent, but kind of blow off steam, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing like lifting heavy weights that's incomparable to anything else. Like there's nothing else that can do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it also keeps you young. And I'm 36, you're 36. I don't want to be crippled when I'm 40.
Yeah.
So I'm doing everything I can to keep my body in shape. That's probably the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
Outside of like all of the jobs that I do in music and stuff like that. Yeah.
Love it.
Let me just double.
Last
that.
question.
Yeah. I thought about doing it. Like, well, I've actually got, let me just utterly agree with you here and say that if anybody listening has not has thought about maybe I should go to the gym, maybe I should start taking care of my body, start.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do it perfect.
No,
just
go.
Just go.
The hardest thing is showing up.
Literally.
It will make your life, it'll make your everything works better.
Yeah.
You feel better. It's just your mind is clearer. Like you said, mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health alone.
Yeah.
Barring all the myriad of physical benefits, just go to the gym. Make a good decision. Live longer, live better. Go to the gym.
Does your gym have a sauna or steam room as well?
No. Mm-mm. No, but I walk to my gym. So I have a nice 10-minute walk there, 10-minute walk back. So it's like an ice bath in the winter and a sauna in the summer. So.
Love it.
Love it, man. Well, yeah, you're taking care of yourself. And
yeah.
It's obviously been a benefit to your gigs and career, just everything. Yeah. It all relates.
If you work out, you can hit drums harder.
You can break more Remo heads.
You can break more sticks often. Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, so good to get to know you more. And
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
guys.
Let me hear you say hallelujah. If it came to turn up, let your redneck loose. Crank your country up to the red, white, and blue. Yeah, if you love Levi jeans and freedom fried chicken, jacked up trucks and honky tonk women, raise your drink to the home of the brave. Ain't nobody party like a USA.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast. If you liked it, please consider leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast app.
Please consider supporting us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can help support this dream and keep the ball rolling for us. Believe it or not, it's not free or even necessarily cheap for us to make this thing go. To sign up, go to patreon.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast or click the link in our Instagram bio. All of your help is greatly appreciated.
visit our website, NashvilleDrummersPodcast.com, where you can listen to all past episodes, learn more about myself and Nate, and buy all your favorite Nashville Drummers Podcast merch, including t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, and drum heads. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Nashville Drummers Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Ain't nobody